Welcome to the Network Engineering Video Blog. I'm your host, Michael Crane. Please excuse the casual attire today. I wasn't planning on doing a blog, and so it's about almost 100 degrees here in Texas, and so I thought I'd wear something pretty light today. We could finish that lag testing that I wasn't able to do very well with the little MX2 boxes. But anyway, we've got this this Xena Gigabit test set now, and as you can see, it's basically just a little pizza box job. You know, not a lot of stuff on the back, and you know, it's running some flavor of Linux, I'm sure, inside there, and that's just a little cover that covers it up. But you know, here's where all the interfaces are. This actually holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ports, and I'm not sure what the max is. We can look at the specs here in a little bit. I was very concerned when I got this box that it wasn't going to do the 100 meg because this is a gigabit test set, and I wasn't sure it was going to be able to sync down to 100 meg speed. But I did install the software and plugged it in, so so I've already had a quick look at it, and it will do 100 meg, which is excellent. So we're in business. Today's blog is going to be a quick overview of the Xena. I'm not going to really show you how to set up and install the software. I can if people request it. It's actually quite easy to install. Setting IP address can be a little tricky if it's not set to default when you get it. They've got clear instructions on how to reset it, and that's where, if you buy one new, it's all going to come factory default, and so you can always reset these things back to factory defaults. But yeah, we're going to do a quick overview of you know, I'm going to plug it in. We're going to fire up the software for it, and just have a quick play around with it, and you know, maybe we'll probably throw a couple loopbacks in there, run a little bit of traffic, and show you how easy this thing is to use. I've actually used these things in the past at other companies. And I've actually done quite a bit of automation with them as well. But it'll be kind of interesting. It's been several years since I've used one, and we'll see how much I can actually remember. Oh, also about the software, one of the nice things about this and Xena Networks is they don't really screw you around on the software, at least not yet. And I shouldn't say not yet. As far as I know, they don't. I downloaded the latest version of software for the PC, and it also came with all the firmware for the Xena box. So when I first fired it up, it actually you know, said, okay, well, let's go upgrade your Xena box while we're at it. And so they're both on the same software rev. It's great. Big thumbs up to Xena for that. We're going to do a quick overview of you know, the hardware on this. There's not really a lot to look at. You know, there's some status lights on here, and we can look in the manual. It, I guess, looks like networking, hard drive access, reset button, power switch, and then over here, you know, we have the SFPs. This one can handle six ports. I'm not sure what the max bandwidth is on this model. The model of this is the C1-M6 SFP, or the Xena Compact, and you can see it's got ears for rack mounting, and in the software you can flash the lights. So if you've got a whole stack of these guys, you want to figure out which one you're actually connected to. You can flash the lights on it, and this is just like a little goofy magnetized faceplate that they've put on, and these things constantly fall off. I'm surprised they haven't fixed that, but like I said, I don't know how old this unit is. So, I mean, it might be a few years. The newer ones might be different, I don't know. But you can just see it's got some magnets on the back. But all it's doing is covering up the VGA port, serial port, a couple USBs, and some older keyboard mouse connectors. I guess they're DIN connectors. And so anyway, that just kind of pops on there like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And these SFPs that Wayne sent, thank goodness, are they're 10100, 1000, RJ45 ports. And 4 of them is exactly the number we need. This one here looks like it might be a little different kind of SFP. But like I said, I looked in the software earlier and it recognizes them all. So just to show you real quick, I wanted to, so I have the Xena plugged in. As you can see, it's powered up. And I put a little Ethernet cable in between ports 1 and 2 on those RJ45 SFPs. And I've got a management cable plugged in, and that's pretty much it for connectivity. I think today we'll probably just try to run some traffic between port 1 and 2 just take a look at it. I pulled up the product information for the Xena Compact right here, and it's pretty thin. And so it says it supports up to 12 test ports. Not really sure how that works. I mean, as you can see right here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 SFPs. I don't know. Maybe they can double them. I don't really know. It has a suitcase, ease of use. So it says free software. And then it says free 12-month hardware warranty and 36 months of free software updates. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I downloaded the software for this box without paying or doing anything, and I didn't have to put. It's not like I put in a serial number so they knew it was like some demo box or something like that. So I don't understand this 36 months of free software updates, because as far as I know, I just uploaded it. Maybe there's something else. I don't know. And this is sweet right here. Free tech support for product lifetime. I mean, yeah, where else are you going to get that from? So, but yeah, it kind of gives us 10 pounds, blah, blah, blah. It is a little bit noisy. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So when I first got this, I was looking, and the slowest speed it said was 1 gig. And I was a little bit worried that I wasn't going to be able to use this. Anyway, and I looked at the data sheet, and it was almost as worthless as the web page. So it really doesn't say anything. There's the case and some other stuff, but you can go on their website and check it out. It does. I think when I was using it, only did Perl, and I guess Tickle. I don't remember Python or Ruby or Java being something that you could automate with, but you know, so some kind of wrapper going on there. But anyway, enough of messing around with the documentation. Let's take a look at it. When you install the software, which is about 400 megs or so, it puts let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 icons on your desktop, and I have no idea what these are. This Xena 1564, all this stuff. I have no idea what it is. We can look at some of these, but I think probably for this time around we won't. We're going to be using this box quite a bit for some testing, and maybe we'll tinker with some of those other apps, whatever they are, later. But for now, we're just interested in the Xena Manager. So we're going to fire that guy up. Okay, so I've fired up the Xena Manager, and it comes up to this quick start guide, and we're not going to look at this quick start guide. We're going to just mess around with it a little bit, but you know, it kind of helps get you through it, through setting it up a little bit if you're not familiar with it. But the first thing we want to do is we want to add the chassis, and so you can see right here it has chassis address, which this is the default. That's a default port number, and the default password I actually added in earlier because I was tinkering with it earlier to make sure it was going to do 100 meg for our testing. We're going to click on OK, and it added the chassis 0. Its name is chassis, and that's its IP address right there. All right, and then here's all the it's module 0, and here's all the 6 ports. It starts from port 0, and if you're not familiar with a lot of test equipment, especially network test equipment, you have to reserve the equipment, and they do that for multiple users. So multiple users can log in. Like if I only needed port 0 and 1 on this device, then I could just reserve port 0 and 1. But since it's just us and we're just playing around, I'm just going to reserve the whole chassis for us, and you can do that. I think you can click up here to reserve the resource, or you can right click it. Brings a little pull down and just say reserve chassis. Okay, so now we've got the chassis reserved. Let's just take a quick look around. I've got the chassis highlighted, and I'm going to go up here and click on resource properties, and its chassis name is chassis. Okay, and we can rename this if we want. It's got a description. I'm not sure why it says please set name and password, but my guess is it's detected this default password and is telling me to change it to something else. But we're not going to. Yeah, what else is on here? It shows the model, serial, firmware, which I've upgraded, drive version, all this other fun stuff, host name, MAC address. Yeah, not anything really exciting. I found this kind of interesting, this reserved by M. Crane, and it must be looking at my Windows login to get that, because I put M. Crane nowhere in this setup, so I'm not exactly sure where it got M. Crane from. Yeah, I don't know. So, and it's got operations, request bytes, response bytes. I guess that's if you're dropping some packets, maybe. Who knows? And then port stats. Yeah, nothing there. Port configuration. And it's moving a little bit slow. It's not the software that's slow. It's my Windows capture software has got the CPU just pegged. And it's got a bunch of other junk in here that, since we're not running any traffic, don't really mean anything. So, okay, so what else is there? Module. Let's see. Module resource properties. I guess you can describe it. Oh, here we go. We got some module capabilities. Advanced timing supported. Local time adjustment supported. Yep. Don't know what that is for. Okay, so next let's go look at port 0. All right, and
and I notice everything's grayed out. You know, it's interesting. I thought if I owned the whole chassis that I owned everything up underneath it, but you see how everything's kind of grayed out right here? That tells me that even though I own the whole chassis, I don't own these guys, which is kind of interesting. I'm this GUI is a little bit new to me. The one I was using several years ago, I thought that would make me the owner of everything, but I could be wrong. So let's see. If I click on used, does it do anything? Nope. Doesn't seem to do anything. Let me right click. Okay, well if I right click, I can reserve it. Okay, well, so yeah, so now I reserved it, and and everything got, you can see everything is not grayed out anymore. So yeah, that's kind of, and I have no idea what this used checkbox thing does. We might have to break down and read the manual. But yeah, so anyway, I've reserved port 0. Let's go ahead and reserve port 1 while we're at it, because we're going to be using them both. Okay, so let's take a quick look at some of these port settings. This is its official name, I guess, and then you can give it a description. Looks like that's settable. Interface type, reserved by. I notice the sync status is in sync. This is what these two ports have. Port 0 and port 1 here have the loopback plugged in, or it's not loopback. It's just a cable, but they're looped to each other, and you can see they're both green, which means that it looks like layer 1 is happy. And let's see. Oh, it says layer 1 control, port speed selection. Yeah, so we can do 10, 100, so we can fix it to whatever we need. We'll just leave it auto so it can auto negotiate it. And it's got a bunch of other stuff in here. Well, let's see. Traffic status off, so we're not running any traffic. Time limit, include global control. I think that's so if you're running a test, you can globally stop it. And I'll have to go back in my gray matter and see if I can remember where that's at. Probably under operations up here or something. But anyway, transmit profile, normal. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we might have to pull out the manual for some of this. Strictly sequential. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Maybe that's for tagging packets, so it can tell you if it's lost any. I don't know. I'd have to read the manual again. Flash support. That's boring. What else? Loopback, latency, payload, payload offset. Sorry, I'm reading backwards here. It's a little bit of an ADD thing. I'm just kind of looking around. What's down here? IPv4, IPv6 properties. So yeah, we can give it a. This is some layer 3 stuff. So it looks like it's kind of going in layers. So we've got layer 1, layer 2, right, and then payload, which I guess is maybe a layer 3 thing, and then it's got. This is definitely layer 3 here, this IPv4, IPv6 stuff. And then we got some multicast stuff, which we're not going to mess with any of that today. And let's see what's under port capabilities down here. Whew. Wow, look at that. This view shows the hardware capabilities of the currently selected port. These values cannot be changed. Max port speed. Oh, okay, all kinds of stuff in there. Well, I'm not going to read it all. So, yeah, that's we'll probably end up changing this. I seem to remember we had to, or I had to create a stream first, and let's just let's start from the. It's always best to start from the beginning, layer 1, and okay, we got port speed selection, auto negotiate. You'd think these two would be the same, but anyway, all this looks good, and our layer 1 is up. It looks like everything's in sync, so we're good there. Stagger, factor, optical receive. Okay, so in layer 2 we do have a MAC address, which is good. So E0 is port 0, and yep, E1 is port 1. Very good. All right. Now, if we're just doing layer 2 testing, yeah, we might be able to get away with just that. And this class of service right here, I'm not going to get into that now. That's a payload checksum, loopback and latency. I guess this is oh, okay. Oh, you can loop it back to itself. That's kind of interesting. I've never actually tried that. Latency mode. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look at a manual for that. But anyway, let's move forward, and we're going to be doing some layer 3 testing. So I'm going to give it an IP address, and I'm just going to make it 10.1.1.0 for well, maybe that's a bad one. We'll make it 10.1.1.1 for port 1. And, yeah, that's a good enough subnet mask because it is a Class A network address. We don't care about IPv6 now. We don't care about the gateway. Now, we will want it to reply to ARP requests when we start doing our real testing. But right now, we don't care. So, and we don't care about DHCP. I don't care about multicast. So, yeah. And okay. Well, where's the save button? Well, let's see. If I go to port 1 and go back, let's see. Let's make his IP address 10.1.1.2. Okay. Wow, that's kind of weird. I wonder why it did that. We don't want a IPv4 gateway. So let's go back to, oh, it saved it. Very good. So 10.1.1.1, I was looking for a save button. I couldn't find it. It looks like it automatically saves it for you. Okay, so we've got okay, yeah, so that's good. They call it, the description is port number, oh, crap. Well, anyway, let's just call him port 1. I know this is going to be confusing, isn't it? And we're going to call this guy port 2. That way, and the reason why I'm doing that is so it matches the IP addresses here, .2 and .1. So the next thing we need to do is, if I remember correctly, is create a stream, and the stream is you're trying to tell it, how many packets you want to send and how fast, and I see down here there's a stream wizard which I've never used before. And I was kind of looking around. I see a load stream. I guess you can save them off and stuff like that. But it took me a little while to find it. And oh, here we go. We got add stream up here, or I also noticed you could add a stream right here. So okay, so what we're going to do is from port 0, we're going to just send traffic to port 1. Okay, so we're going to add a stream. Oh, wow, that's okay. We're going to highlight him. The status is off. Traffic control start. Okay. Port transmit mode normal. Well, what would it normally be? Okay. Stream properties. Test payload ID. Description. Insert frame checksum. Yep. Rate fraction 10%. I guess it's just going to send 10% of 1 gig. So I guess that'd be 100 meg. And packets per second, bit rate. Oh, actually, it's going to be 76.1905 megabits per second. Layer 2. Okay. Packet content. Okay, we can do fixed size, and I think you can do random. Yeah, random. You can do fixed size packets. Random is probably going to be a little more close to what your traffic is going to be like. Payload type incrementing, and that's fine. Payload pattern looks like it's all zeros. Connectivity check. Yeah, we don't care about any of that stuff. We might have to actually do some of this. I notice it's actually grayed out. I'm not sure why. Let's see. Bitrate layer 1, 100 meg. The inner packet gap. 58,552 nanoseconds. Okay. Stop after 0. I'm hoping this will just run forever. Burst density 100%. Packet header definitions. What is all this stuff? Destination MAC. Okay. Source MAC. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I guess we could put in the layer 2 information here, but we're doing layer 3 stuff. It's going to be interesting to see if it works right off the bat, huh? Let's see what's down here. Stream modifier overviews. That doesn't seem to do anything. Okay, so yeah, let's start it. Okay, well, it turned yellow here. Okay, so we're going to go to port 1, or what we called port number 2, which I apologize. I know it's just confusing, isn't it? And here we want to, let's see, we gave them IP address. Yeah, what's interesting about that stream, I don't remember seeing a destination IP. Ethernet. Yeah, so I think we're just sending layer 2 stuff. We need a destination IP. Wonder what happens if we right click on that. That doesn't do anything. Copy stream, that's no good. I'm gonna stop him real quick. Port transmit mode. Strict uniform. Yeah, so this test set is a layer 2, layer 3 test set. In fact, when I was testing with it, we were doing some Metro. We were working on a Metro Ethernet switch, and so it was, you know, we did mainly all layer 2 stuff, but oops. Destination MAC. We want destination IP. Uh-oh, we might have to I might have to actually dig out the manual. I seem to remember having to make a you know, like basically create an IP packet, but unless I'm just missing it. IPv4 gateway. I don't see a destination, so You know, and what I'm looking for is I want to be able to put in the IP address for port 1 here. I'm not seeing it though, unless the segment thing. Destination MAC. I wonder if this add segment does. ARP address. Oh, I guess these are the different packets you can send. Ah, here we go. I bet you this is what we want right here. We want, that's what we want. We want to send IPv4. Say okay. Aha. That's mucho better. Ah, here we go. Version 4, yep. Yeah, all this stuff. Till length. Source IPA destination. Here we go. So we want it to go to 10.1.1.2. Okay, and still no save button. They really need a save button. This is driving me nuts. I feel like nothing's getting saved. I have to unclick off of it and then go re-click on it to verify it actually saved anything. It did, but yeah. Xena, please give me a button somewhere to save. Well, at least give me a warm fuzzy. It actually saved what I've changed. Okay. Anyway, back from my little rant here. Okay, so let's start. And now we should be just transmitting without test play the stream traffic. Yeah. And yeah, so we're just transmitting, and I'm sure the other side's just dropping everything because it's not even turned on yet. So we're going to go back here. Let's go to port 1 now. Okay, so we're on port number 1 here, and let's see what the port stats say. Link status, no FSC, okay. Total traffic, air injection. I thought there was a way to tell it you want it needs to be a receive, not a transmit. Port transmit mode. Well, we don't want it transmitting. We want it to receive. Yeah, I must be missing something. We definitely don't want to transmit. Let's see if we right click on it. Release, use port. Load port, refresh port, reset port. Port stream configuration, global filter. Yeah, so I don't think there's a receive stream. Well, let's just try it. It can't hurt, right? So I'm gonna right click on them. We're gonna add stream, which doesn't really make much sense to me. And traffic control start. Transmit mode. Yeah, this isn't making any sense to me. Okay, so I kind of figured out another problem. And it's pretty funny, actually. It's been so long since I've used. Well, this interface is a lot different than what I remember, and I think it's kind of slowly coming back to me. But if you remember earlier when I started traffic, and we went and clicked on port 1, and if you looked on and we went to the stats, port stats. we weren't getting anything. Of course, we're not going to be transmitting anything, but so the port receive stats here. Oop, oh, where'd they go? So the port receive stats, we weren't getting anything, and I was kind of scratching my head and why that was the case, and so I was kind of poking around, and yeah, I still haven't looked at the manual. It's a, call it a guy thing, call it a engineer thing. I just started tinkering with it, kind of off camera, and I kind of said, well, okay. So I went to port 1 or port 0, stream 0. And if you remember when we were doing the segments, so I added the IPv4 segment down here where I added the destination IP address and the source IP address, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that should be okay. But up here, under the Ethernet, sorry, the source MAC was okay, but the destination MAC was blank. It was set. Oop, it was set. Well, I was not gonna. Anyway, it was set at unknown, and so I was kind of like, I wonder if it's if it's freaking out because the way IP works, you got to start from layer 1, go to layer 2, then to layer 3, and then the reverse on the back end. I'm like, I wonder if it's just not liking this destination MAC because it was set at unknown, and so I went ahead and just selected, okay, well, I know it's going to port 1. So I selected port 1, and it automatically populated, the destination MAC address, and then when I started the traffic up here, I could go to port 2 and then go to port stats, and all of a sudden I was receiving packets, and so I was like, okay, that fixed that, except if I go up here to the global stats now, I'm getting huge errors. So so we can look at port number 1 and sync the checksum is okay. But we're getting all these errors, and I haven't really looked into them. But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, okay, well, we're sending. Boy, this interface takes a little getting used to. So I click on the stream and go up here to resource properties. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this traffic, but I was like, okay, well, we're sending a layer 4, but there's nothing, that's not really, that doesn't really get you anything. So I'm wondering if I need to add a, something on top of it, because I'm not sure what these errors are, and I haven't dug around, and I tried looking in this event log, but it doesn't really say anything. But anyway, what I was getting to was where am I here? Stream 0. Oh yeah, here we go. I wonder if I need to add, like, tell it's okay, well, it's a UDP or TCP or something like that. And I guess we can try it real quick. Let's just pop it in there. Okay, well, telling me my minimum packet size. And see, this is the kind of stuff that they should do automatically for you. I mean, Jesus. Okay, so let's just make this 128. I mean, that's kind of a beating. Really. But, you know, source port 0, destination. You know, I think that should be okay. So let's see what happens if we start that. So if we start, go to global stats. Yeah, see? Yep, sure enough, it fixed the errors. Yeah, because it was all just sitting there just pounding a bunch of errors without that. And I can show you real quick. Let me go stop this. Which it doesn't stop. I don't know why. So, okay, I clicked on stream, go to resource properties, stop. Okay. And if I go down here and delete this this UDP thing out, remove segment, and start it again, then, okay, now we're started. I go to global stats here. Yeah, see all these errors? So now it's picking up a bunch of errors. And yeah, that's kind of a head scratcher. I mean, it's, you know, I get it. It's not a properly formed packet, but anyway, so that's his problem. Is it was probably trying to identify that packet. It'd be nice if I could figure out, and I'm sure there's a way to do it, but it'd be nice to figure out, you know, what the error is somewhere, and there probably is a way to find that. I just don't know where it's at. But anyway, this video has gone on long enough. We're going to do several more videos on using the Xena box and getting a test set up, because we're going to have multiple streams coming from the Ethernet switch going to because the Ethernet switch is all 100 meg ports, and it's going to be going to one gig port off the router. So we're going to have 3 streams coming out of that. So we'll have to have 3 separate streams and out of the 1 gig port going back, but anyway, we'll have some fun with this. There's a lot to this. It's a very powerful tool, and I know, you know, from past experience that you can create your own packets. You know, there's just all kinds of fun stuff, like this resolve peer address. You can just send ARP requests, and said, yeah, I received ARP, but, you know, if I went into port 1 and disabled reply to ARP, wherever that is, you know, somewhere around here, edit, well, I know it's somewhere around here. I just said it earlier. Oh, yeah, here, that's not reply. Oh, here we go. Apply to ARP. So I bet you if I disable that and then try that again on from port 1, so it's still enabled on port 1. I enabled. I was just messing around doing it, but so if I go to you know, let's edit ARP. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, maybe it's because it's running traffic. No, I just did that. Edit ARP. Well, dang, damn it, where'd it go? You're probably sitting there screaming at me. I probably went past it again. Oh, is it under the stream, maybe? Oh, there it is. So now if I send the ARP, yeah, see, it didn't get it. So we'll have to enable the ARP, and we'll have some fun. We'll play around with it. We should be able to send ARPs out, and we're going to have to build our own IP packet, it looks like, and you know, and yeah, this will be very interesting to test with. But anyway, I'm gonna cut this video off now. We're gonna do more videos using the Xena test box, and then we're going to, as soon as we get used to working with it in loopback mode, then we're going to connect it to some equipment, which will make the complexity of it, of our testing, 10 times as hard. So it'll take a little setting up, but once we get all set up, we'll be able to have a real good test and get some good data off of it. So I hope you liked the video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you later.